Good morning, everybody. We will see the continuation for chemical bonding. See types of molecules. Based on octet rule, we have four types of molecules. We have under this. The first one is incomplete octet molecule. Incomplete octet molecules. Yes, you see carefully in that table the answer is there. Incomplete octet molecules means, you know very well, octet means is nothing but 8 electrons. Incomplete means as a molecules is a molecules around the central atom. Around the central atom we have less than 8 electrons. Less than 8 electrons is called as incomplete octet molecules. Just I will tell you some examples for this category is nothing but, for example, beryllium chloride is the PeCl2. What is the situation here? Beryllium is a central atom surrounded by 2 chlorine atoms. You know very well every chlorine can form one bond. Like that central atom is beryllium. Around it we have 2 pairs. Okay na? So around the central atom we have how many electrons? 2 2s are 4 electrons. So 4 is the less than 8 atom. Yes, this is calling as incomplete. I will give you one more example. BCl3 molecule, boron trichloride. Here, what is the situation once you see? Around the boron we can take 3 chlorines, we can take like this. Every chlorine can form one bond. Already we learned this all in Lewis dot structures. Around the boron we have 3 pairs, yes or no? So around the boron we have 3 2s are 6 electrons we have anyway. Is a molecule in which the central atom has less than 8 electrons around it is calling as incomplete octet molecule. Second category is nothing but octet molecules. Sir, what is the meaning of octet molecules? Yes, anybody? Is a molecules in which around the central atom we have is equals to the 8 electrons. Exactly 8 electrons should be there around the central atom in a molecule is calling as octet molecule. Just I will tell you some examples. CH4 is there. You check it once. CH4 around the carbon we have how many hydrogens? 4 hydrogens we have. You know every hydrogen can form one bond. If we can write the Lewis dot structure, this is the situation. Around the carbon atom we have 4 bases, 4 bonds, means 4 pairs. 4 2s are 8 electrons, who's calling as a octet molecule. I will tell you some other things. You can take H2O. Yes, H2O is there. What is the central atom here? Oxygen surrounded by 2 hydrogens. Yes, each hydrogen can form one bond. After that, oxygen has 2 lone pairs. Now, a bond means 2 electrons. S is also 2 electrons, and here 4 electrons. Together we have 8 electrons around the oxygen called as octet molecule. I will tell you one more molecule is nothing but NH3 will be there. Yes, you take nitrogen is a central atom. Around it we have 3 hydrogens with single bonds. In every bond we have one pair. Yes, and after that nitrogen has 1 lone pair. Already I told lone pair means a pair of electrons from the valence shell which is not involving in the chemical bonding. Now you see 3 2s are 6 plus 2, 8 electrons will be there. And you can see some other example for this one. For example, if you can take which one, like CCl4 is there. CCl4. Same situation. Carbon is the central atom surrounded by 4 chlorine atoms, and 4 chlorine atom everyone can form one bond around it. Each bond containing 2 electrons. Like that around carbon we have 8 electrons, so we are calling as octet molecules. Now we are going to third category is nothing but expanded octet molecules. Expanded octet molecule. I think you may get by seeing this word the definition of expanded octet molecules. Expanded means more than, means is a molecule in which around the central atom, around the central atom, around the central atom have more than 8 electrons. More than 8 electrons will be there. So such molecules is calling as expanded octet molecules. This all we are getting in the Lewis dot structure. Just I will tell you some example. PCl5 is there. Do you know name? Yes, will come in furtherly. 5 pentachloride, phosphorus, phosphorus pentachloride. See the situation. Phosphorus is a central atom surrounded by 5 chlorine atoms. Like 3 are like a triangle and should be in the same plane. Like we are getting 3 bonds, we are getting trigonal planar, and above one bond is coming and below one bond is coming. Shape is not a matter. So let it be. Around the phosphorus we have 5 bonds, we have 5 twos of how many electrons amount? 10 electrons per square. Around the phosphorus we have 10 electrons, which more than 8 electrons who called as expanded octet molecule. Just I will give you one more molecule. SF6 is there. So sulfur is the central atom. Around it we are getting how many fluorines we are getting? 6 fluorines we are getting. Yes, every fluorine or every halogen can form one bond. Like that every bond has 2 electrons. Like that how many are there? 6 bonds. 6 twos are 12 electrons. Means around the central atom we have 12 electrons. Due to that reason we are calling as a expander. Is the less than 8 electrons around the central atom is calling as a incomplete. Exactly 8 electrons around the central atom is calling as a octet molecule. Is a more than 8 electrons around the central atom in a molecule is calling as expanded octet molecules, like PCl5, SF6, like that. And fourth category is important for the competitive point of view, odd electron molecules. Odd electron molecules. Sir, what is the meaning of odd electron molecules? Very clear. Yes, is a molecules having odd number of electrons in them. Odd number of electrons in each. So because of odd number, you know, definitely unpaired electrons should be there. Because of unpaired electrons, definitely they are having magnetic nature. So like paramagnetica, ferromagnetica, something. And they are also exhibiting colors. Yes or no? Yes. So because of odd number of electrons, for example 5 electrons is there. 5 electron means odd number is there. Out of 5 what happening? The 4 are becoming like 2 pairs and 1 will be unpaired. This single electron will be responsible for the magnetic nature as well as colors. Just I will tell you some example. If you see yellow molecule is there, nitric oxide. Yes, what is the number of electrons? Nitrogen 7 electrons plus oxygen 8 electrons together 15 electrons. Is it even or odd? Odd. That's why calling as a odd electron. I will take you one more example. NO2 molecule, nitrogen 7 electrons, each oxygen 8 electrons, 2 8s are 16 electrons together 23 electrons is also odd electrons. And one more ClO2, chlorine dioxide. You can take chlorine having 17 electrons, each oxygen 8, 2 8s are 16 electrons together it is becoming 33 electrons. Yes sir. So these all are having odd numbers, that's why we are calling those molecules as odd electron molecules. Now we are discussing some important concept is nothing but properties of the covalent compounds. Properties of covalent compounds. You know very well what is the meaning of covalent compounds. Compounds which are having covalent bonds in it is calling as a covalent compound. Covalent bonds is formed because of sharing of electron. Because of transfer of electron we are getting ionic bond, already we studied previously. Now regarding covalent compound, first point I am discussing a physical states. Physical states. Okay, how covalent compound exists in the universe means whether solids or liquids or gases. I told already all ionic compounds are existing in the solid phase, but the covalent compounds existing in all three states, solid phase as well as liquid phase and also gas phase. Can you give me some example for the solid, liquid, gases covalent compound? Do you know? Yes, you can take diamond, and as well as graphite, diamond and graphite. You know very well both will be made up of carbon atoms only. Okay, between them compulsory what happens? Sharing of electron is happening. Why? Because purely they are made up of carbon atom, means non-metal, they are involving in the sharing. Definitely those particles are held together by covalent bond. Okay, like we can tell diamond, graphite, they are existing in the solid phase, and also we can take I2, iodine is a purple color crystals. Okay, can you give me some example for the liquid covalent compound? You know very well, water is the liquid covalent compound, ammonia is the liquid covalent compound, and we can take hydrogen fluoride and alcohols, and we can take benzene. You know very well, I think formula of benzene, you know, C6H6. These are all liquids of a covalent compound. And some covalent compounds is also existing in the gaseous phase. You know, the compound should be in gas phase, but between the atoms should be sharing will be there. You take oxygen, nitrogen, chlorine, fluorine. These all will undercomes ozone. These all will undercomes covalent gaseous chemicals. And we have to discuss what about their melting point and boiling point. Anybody? These covalent compounds are having a low melting point and boiling point. Sir, why like this? So why? Because means in the covalent compound between the constant particle we have a weak force of attraction will be there. Because of weak force of attraction between the constant particle, to break them required energy should be less. That's why they are having low melting and boiling point. But except means somewhat violation or different case is nothing but diamond. Diamond is the hottest material. Except diamond, remaining all covalent compounds are having low melting and boiling points. And I want to tell you some other things. They are solubility. They are soluble in non-polar solvents. Non-polar solvents. I told already simple example. Non-polar solvents means all organic liquids. All organic liquids is suitable to dissolve the covalent compounds in them. All ionic compounds is dissolved in the polar solvents. All covalent compounds are soluble in non-polar solvents. What is the meaning of non-polar compound? Yes, between the particle sharing is happening. The sharing is equal sharing is happening. Due to equal sharing, you are not getting any charges. That's why we are calling them as non-polar. So, can you give me some example for the organic or non-polar solvent? You can take benzene. Yes or no? Benzene. We can take alcohols, and we can take CCl4. I think you studied in organic chemistry carbon tetrachloride, and like that we can take which one? Kerosene, petrol, diesel. These all will undercomes which category? Organic liquids or nothing but non-polar solvent. Most of the covalent compound. Just once you see, all covalent compound may exist in solid, liquid, and gases. And they are having very less melting and boiling point, because between the constant particle we have weak force of attraction. They are soluble in non-polar solvents, nothing but organic liquids like benzene, toluene, kerosene, petrol, carbon tetrachloride, and alcohols. All these. We will see some other properties of the covalent compounds. Fourth property of the covalent compound is nothing but conductivity. Conductivity. Already know conductivity means if you take any substance through that you are sending heat energy or electrical energy if it is passing because of ions or electrons. Okay, now all covalent compounds are bad conductors. But one exceptional case is the exception of graphite. Graphite is a very good conductor of heat and electricity. Other than this, graphite remaining all covalent compounds are bad conductors. Why? Because of no ions in them and no electrons in them. Compulsory to conduct electricity, ions or free electrons is required, but both are not there in them. That's why they are calling as a bad conductors or insulators. But except graphite. Sir, why it is involving in the good conductor? Graphite is involving, already studied in the p block element, the carbon family. It is involving in the sp2 hybridization. After that, it has one free electron will be there. The free electron is responsible for the conductivity of graphite. Other than graphite, all covalent compounds are bad conductor because of no ions and no free electrons. And we can see some other things. These all covalent compounds or covalent reactions are very slow. All covalent reactions are slow reactions. Sir, why all covalent reactions are very slow? Already we learned all ionic reactions are very fast. Why? Because ions already exist in the form of, ionic compounds already exist in the form of ions. When you mix them, recombine together gives immediately products. But here what happens? Just I will give you one example. Nitrogen is combining with the hydrogen. We are getting ammonia. 2 moles of ammonia. The formation of ammonia from N2 and H2 not takes place spontaneously or not takes place immediately. So why? Because already you know Dalton's last postulate. In all chemical reaction, the chemicals will be involved in the reaction in the form of atoms. Means in this nitrogen are held together by triple bond. Should break down them, then only they are becoming like nitrogen atoms. This hydrogen situation, hydrogen and hydrogen held together by single bond, then should be break down, 3 2s are 6 hydrogen atoms. Okay, means the N2 and H2 first break down into atoms, then they will combine together and becoming 1 nitrogen, 3 hydrogens, becoming like NH3, like that 2 are coming. Here what happening? Bond breaking is happening as well as bond formation is also happening. Bond breaking and bond formation will take some time. That's why the covalent reactions are slow reactions. So means in all covalent reaction, the chemical has to be break down into atoms, then they will be recombined together and converting into products. This will be takes place by taking some time. That's why they are calling as a slow reactions. You can see one more thing, they are exhibiting space isomerism or also calling as stereoisomerism. Already in ionic compound I explained very clearly. Sir, why this is exhibiting the space or stereoisomerism? The covalent bond is the directional bond. Covalent bond is the directional bond. Because of directional nature, we are showing them with the thick line. Okay, already I told one example. Under stereoisomerism, we are getting 2 isomerism. We are getting geometrical isomerism and optical isomerism. I explained very clearly. These all isomerisms can be given by covalent compound because the covalent compound or covalent bonds are directional in nature. That's why we are showing a proper direction of the bonds. All of you clear? Yes. Now we are discussing the very important concept. Right now we discussed the covalent bonds is formed by sharing of electrons. These all can be explained by Lewis dot structures. These Lewis dot structures explain only how bonds are forming. He didn't discuss anything regarding shapes and bond angles in the molecule. These all things is successfully explained by one more theory, is nothing but second chemical bonding theory, is a little bit important theory. Valence bond theory. Valence bond theory. Valence bond theory. What is this valence bond theory? Just shortcutly we are calling it VBT. VBT. Sir, what is the meaning of this theory? This is the one of the theory. Listen very carefully, all of you. So, valence bond theory successfully explain the covalent bonds. Covalent bond formed by overlapping means what? Intermixing of valence shell atomic orbitals with unpaired electrons. Is a very good point. Observe so many conditions is there. The covalent bond is formed by intermixing or overlapping of valence shell. Valence shell means lost shell. Atomic orbital with should be unpaired electron. Sir, what is the meaning of unpaired electron? You know very well. Single electron should be there. Just I will tell you. See. For example, you have A atom and another A atom is there. Right now, A atom is from its valence shell is a spherical shape orbital, s orbital, having nucleus carrying positively charged and coming with the single electron denoted by upward arrow mark. Now, it is intermixed with another A atom that is also coming with s orbital with the nucleus and downward electron. Anyway, the two A atoms are approached together with the s orbitals with a single electron. What happening between them? How to discuss? Yes, these two are intermixed together. After intermixing, what is the situation? You see carefully. This is the A atom. This is the A atom. Okay, having nucleus. After intermixing between two A atoms, what we are getting? A pair of electron is coming. One electron from A atom, one electron from B atom, you are getting finally a pair of electron we are getting. So because of this intermixing, some force of attraction will be happening between the atoms. Why? Because nucleus carries positive charge, electron carries a negative charge. Force of attraction will be there. Electron and nucleus having force of attraction will be there. The force of attraction will be calling as a chemical bonding. Between the two particles, what happened? Chemical bond is over. So that chemical bond only we are showing as a single bond. Very simple. When atoms are approached together with the valence shell orbitals with a single electron, they are involving in the overlapping. After overlapping, a pair of electron will be appears between the two bonded atoms. Then they are having attraction with the nucleus. The force of attraction will be calling as a chemical bond. And after having all these things, what happening? Energy will be releasing. Energy is releasing. That only we are calling as bond energy. Sir, what is the meaning of bond energy? Yes, first of all, initially this one having 10 kilocalories energy and this one has 10 kilocalories energy. So now after formation of the chemical bonding, the matter has only 5 kilocalories energy. Now initially reactants are having how much? 20. Reactants are having 20, 10 plus 10. So after converting into products, having only 5. So initially we have 20, but finally we have 5 means what happening here? Energy will be releasing. How much? 15. That energy only we are calling as bond energy. So why it is happening? This is high energy. High energy is the unstable. After formation of the product, less energy is the more stable. This is only principle of secret of the chemistry. So these atoms are having high energy and unstable. To becoming stabilized, they are losing energy. That losing energy only we are calling as bond energy. So according to valence bond theory, when the atoms are approaching together, the overlapping will be taking place in between valence shell atomic orbitals with the unpaired electron. After overlapping between the two nucleus of the atoms, we are getting pair between electron pair and the nucleus will have force of attraction called as a chemical bonding. In this whole process, energy will be releasing called as a bond energy. And we have some important things I will tell you. All of you understood what is the condition? It should be takes place overlapping of valence shell atomic orbital should be unpaired electron. Okay, from this I will tell you some example. You see, for example, I have hydrogen atom coming and fluorine atom is coming. Check it once here. Hydrogen atom atomic number emerge 1s1. Only one orbital, the two valence shell orbital with single electron. That's why which orbital it is s orbital. We can show with spherical shape with single electron. Now you have to take fluorine number 9. Configuration 1s2, 2s2 and 2p 5 will be coming 9. So now this is the inner shell, this is the last shell called as a valence shell. 2s having how many electrons? 2 electrons. And 2p are of how many types? 3 types. What are those? 2px, 2py and 2pz. How many are there? 5 are there. First we have to give one more electrons to each orbital. Okay now? Yes, 4th electron and 5th electron. Now from fluorine, which orbital we only involving in the overlapping? All or only one? Only one. Why? This is the last shell should having unpaired electron. Remaining will not be involving in the overlapping or chemical bonding according to VVT. Are you getting that? So now, which orbital? 2pz orbital. The 2pz orbital can be shown as dumbbell shape. 2pz orbital. Because it's the valence shell with single electron. Okay, you can take down. Why? Because already previous one is upward. So it should not be parallel. After that, what we are getting? One s orbital of hydrogen atom and p orbital of this one. Then we are getting like this. We are getting it is nothing but so overlapping is happening. We are getting a pair in between them. After that, we are getting a bond between them. That is only we are showing as HF bond, hydrogen and fluorine bond. Not like that. I am taking, for example, two fluorines. I am taking F and F. Already we studied from F, which is involving, yes, 2pz orbital is coming with single electron, and from another fluorine also we are getting 2pz orbital with unpaired electron. They are involving in the intermixing. After intermixing, what we are getting? Fluorine, yes, like this. Fluorine, yes, fluorine, fluorine. We are getting here pair. So anyway, between fluorine atom, how many pairs? One pair. That's why it can be shown with a single bond. Fluorine, fluorine connected by single bond. Like that, how covalent bonds is forming in between the atoms through overlapping of valence shell orbital with single electrons we are explaining. Now, based on this concept, we have types of overlapping. Types of overlapping. We have mainly 3 types of the overlapping. Is important for the competitive examination. So first one is nothing but SS overlapping. Yes, in the name and answer is there. What is the meaning of SS overlapping? One of the atom of the s orbital overlapped with another atom of the s orbital only. Such overlapping is calling as SS overlapping. Is always happens between s block elements only. That's why I will give you some example. Is nothing but hydrogen and Li2 is example. So always SS overlapping is happening between which block elements only? S block elements only. Already I will explain hydrogen. Once you check it, hydrogen. Yes, you know hydrogen is having single electron. Configuration in 1s1. Yes, hydrogen atom is there, is having spherical in shape nucleus and having unpaired electron. Hydrogen atom is also there, that is also coming with nucleus and single electron. Both will be overlapped, means intermixed or merged. After merging, what we are getting? Yes, we are getting like that hydrogen atom with the nucleus and a shared pair. So between hydrogen and hydrogen, what you are getting? Single bond we are getting. That's why denoted by HH. Is nothing but S and S overlap. Can we write one more nothing but Li2? Li2 is there. Okay, check it Li. Atomic number ಏನು 3. Configuration 1s2 and 2s1. So now check it. So which one is